Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday meeting. It's so nice to be here again today. One more Sunday. I would like to welcome everybody who is joining us at this time. As always, we will be um, doing our initial reading, and then we will do our initial prayer and pass the word to our guest speaker for the day. If you are connected with us and if you were listening, as always, I love to ask you to let us know that you are there. And right now we have Juan. Good morning, Juan. It's always nice to see you. Please let me know if you can hear me well, if you can see me well. And I always love getting that feedback. It's very helpful. Today, the book we are going to be using is Our Daily Bread. And I open randomly on chapter 102. Thank you so much for the feedback, loud and clear. Hi, Luis. Good morning. Nice to see you here. So the chapter is chapter 102. Thank you, Adenilson. Good morning to you too. Caesar and us. And the chapter says, and Jesus answered them, saying, then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God. And that is in the Gospel of Mark 12:17. All over the world, according to their own merits, people will always encounter the figure of Caesar symbolized by the secular government. Evil individuals will obviously produce evil politicians. Idle and indifferent collectivities will face disorganized administrations. In any case, Caesar's influence will surround the individual and demand the fulfillment of material obligations. It is imperative to give him what is his. The student of the gospel should not invoke religious principles or individual idealism to shun these obligations. If there are errors in the law, let us remember the extent of our individual debts to divine providence, and let us cooperate with the human governing body by offering our goodwill and our participation in its duties, aware that our disinterest or rebelliousness will not resolve its problems. It is preferable for disciples to sacrifice themselves and suffer rather than lag behind regarding the respectable laws that temporarily govern them on the physical plane, whether through disobedience towards the established principles or through excessive enthusiasm that tempts them to advance too rapidly for their time. Are there iniquitous decrees? Try to remember if you have been cooperating with those who govern your material landscape. Live in harmony with your superiors, and do not forget that the best position is that of balance. If you intend to live correctly, do not give Caesar the vinegar of your sour criticism. Ask him with your efficient work in the healthy desire to do right. Assist him with your efficient work in the healthy desire to do right, convinced that he and we are children of the same God. What a powerful, important lesson for today and always. Um, Reminding us to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, to offer life always in all aspects our very best, and that is the best way we can cooperate and can be of service in this planet. So, with this reminder and beginning lesson for this morning, I will ask you to join me in our initial prayer. If you feel like comfortable closing your eyes, please do so. If not, just follow with your mind and heart as we say, Dear Father, thank you so much for the blessings of this morning, for the opportunity that we have to be here today, to study, to meditate, to think about those topics that are essential to our lives and that can truly, truly make a difference in the quality of our living and the establishment of the kingdom of heaven within us and outside of us. For this opportunity, we are very thankful and you ask for your blessings, for your presence, blessing all of us, incarnate and discarnate, who are connected at this time, but particularly our friend Sabrina, who will be delivering the lessons of this morning. Thank you so much for everything, and so be it. All right, dear friends. So I am going to bring in Sabrina. Sabrina,
Good
say your last
morning.
name for me, please.
Good morning. Good
Say
morning, everyone.
your last name.
Sabrina Tomaszewski.
Yeah, I didn't want to, not pronounce it correctly.
I know. It's
So
challenging.
yeah. So we're very happy to have Sabrina here. Sabrina is speaking to us from Orlando, where she is a worker of the Peace and Knowledge Spirits Group in Orlando. So if you are in the Orlando area, if you're ever around there and looking for a spiritual center, they have been open for quite a while. And it's a wonderful, wonderful group of workers that I have been the pleasure and honor to be friends for a really long time. So we're very happy to have Sabrina here with us today. Sabrina, have a wonderful lecture. I'll be right here. So if you need anything, I'll jump right back into the rescue. But everything
Okay.
should go okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Have a
dear
good
Susanna.
talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone from the Conscious Living. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Uh, I'm used to speak it at night. So if I say good night, good evening, please bear with me. It's a very nice day outside. And I hope that for many of you, it's also a wonderful day inside as well. Today's talk, we are going to just do a little bit of reflection under a topic that we constantly are calling for, and we are constantly talking about that in a way when we say our prayers, when we count on somebody else. So it's really important for us to understand through the lens of spiritism, what is this help that when we pray or when we say things like, my guardian angel, please help me. I don't know where my guardian angel is. Where is that spirit that says that protect me? Where is it? So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. And my goal here is not, of course, to deliver a message and in a way that you have to take it as a truth or have to take it as 100% this applies to your life, but it's just an intention to bring your topic for reflection, for you to address that within yourself, and hopefully that will benefit yourself as it have done to me. Um, Before we start, I wanted to refer to the three books that I used for this talk. The first one was the Spirit's book, especially the question 491 that will talk about the guardian angel, the spiritual protectors, and the guides. I also used the Gospel According to Spiritism, the chapter 25, which is the Seek and You Shall Find, and a very beautiful message from a book which I'm not sure if it is translated or not yet to English. Susanna may confirm that to us later on. It's the Study in Live by Emmanuel and Chico Xavier. The message is the title of the talk, Benefactors and Blessings. So for us to start, I like to bring uh, just a symbol, a plant as a symbol. When Emmanuel starts this message, the first thing that he says is that nobody lives without the help of one another. And this is very important because sometimes we might think that I'm self-sufficient. I don't need anybody, or if I need, I will call you, or I prefer to isolate myself and not even ask for help. Well, if we see even in the nature, nothing happens without the other's help. Even a simple plant, for it to grow, it needs water, it needs a seed, It needs the sunlight. At the end, of course, we know that is the plants are the ones that have to grow on their own, but they do need help to do that. And this is also applies to our spiritual realm, to our spiritual growth. Through our lives, we still need love, we need help, we need connection. But at the end of the day, at the end of our journey, per se, we are responsible for our growth, for our progress. But that doesn't mean we have to go through that alone. And when I say that, we can refer also to a few key people that are part of our lives um, on earth, especially when we are born in a family that support us or not, it doesn't matter. But those are the key people that we, without noticing, we are getting some help, some guidance from them. So the first one we have to think is our dedicated parents, right? Most of us were born in a family with parents or single parents. Doesn't matter. This is not the topic for today to talk about the family. But what I want to bring about, if it is your grandparents, it doesn't matter. Whoever was that person, um, they attempted was to raise you the best that they could, the best of their knowledge. And as much as they want to see our happiness, our parents, our family does not walk through our journey. So their task is what? To cooperate with our growth, to contribute to our happiness, but they are not going to walk our footsteps. The same way we can bring to our teachers, our professors. When we sign up for the university, when we sign up for a test, whatever that is, you take the initiative to sign you up to study yourself, and the teacher is a venue, it's a way for you to reach that goal. But there is no teacher whatsoever that is going to make you learn. The learning process belongs to us. The same thing with science, medical science. The scientists that discover this wonderful the wonderful vaccines that we have, all the information that we have today, all the resources in medical science, which is a blessing. If you think about a few decades ago, we didn't have any of this. But reality is, if you go to the doctor and I go to the doctor, they're going to give us a prescription. They're going to ask you to run some tests, but it's up to us to do that. So even though they have their hands in research, they put their heart, they do their best to bring health to the population, it's up to the patient to do its part, to do their part. And that also applies to some instructors of the soul, which we can say, in our case, being Christians, Jesus Christ. Jesus came to us, came to this world with a purpose to tell us and help us to lead our journey. But he's not going to go over for us, but he's there for us. So, as much as we get a protection and guidance and all the tools that we need, it's our duty to move forwards, to place the efforts on that. And why I'm bringing all this, you might be asking, well, this is about benefactors and blessings. What is the blessings? We're going to get there. But it's important for us to understand that those people, those good friends, those helps that we get from one another are simply, I wouldn't say simply, but are great tools, a great assistance for us to do our part in this world and in our journey. So going on, we also have to remember that, which is per se the topic for today, right? We are talking about the spiritual guides. Not only that, because we also talk about our teachers, our parents, but especially in terms of spiritism, what I want to bring, it's what applies to this spiritual benefactor that we all have. Before we reincarnate, we have at least one dedicated spirit a lot more evolved than us, a lot higher in terms of goodness, in terms of love, in terms of intelligence, that dedicate itself to follow us throughout our path on earth. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes when we are in the rough days, rough times, we might wonder, where is this being? Where is it? The promise that would watch over me, that would help me with the struggle, and where is it? So the good spirits, this is what the spiritism teaches us. The good spirits help us, inspiring us with good thoughts, inspiring us to follow perhaps what would be best for us. They help us to neutralize the influence of spirits that are not doing anything good. I don't like the word evil spirits, although we're going to read about that, because none of us were created evil. The difference between us and the spirits that are still in a lot of evil, doing a lot of harness, it's pretty much because they are still in that path. They are still trying, they're still choosing wrong ways, just like we all did. But one of the tasks per se, one of the missions of the spiritual benefactors is to help us to neutralize from the influence of these spiritual beings that perhaps are not happy with us. Well, but some people, especially uh, sometimes we go to the spiritual center and we say, I just want those spirits out of me. I just want this problem out of me. I just don't want to have this condition anymore, without remembering that there is a part that we all have to do. So most of us sometimes wait for the spirits to solve our problems, and this is not up to them. We are going to say a prayer. We are going to try to recover our faith somehow, and this is what they are going to do. They are going to be that point of reassurance. I'm here for you, I'm sustaining your faith. But they cannot decide for us. If they would decide it for us, we would not have any merit. We would not have any making any effort to move forward. That wouldn't be up to us. So when Allan Kardec asked on the spirits book, he asked the spirits, what is the mission of the protector spirits? What a great question. We all want to know. For those who have um, clairvoyance type of mediumship, great. You can see, sometimes feel those great spirits, those nice spirits around you. But for those that do not have, which is my case, sometimes you wonder, what are they doing? What is their mission? So the spirit says the mission is just like the parents towards their children. So their mission is to guide us to the path of good, to help us with their advice, to console us in our struggles, in our afflictions, to sustain their courage, which means, okay, the spirits are not going to give us courage. It's not going to give us faith. It's not going to take away our problems, but they are going to help us go through it if we want that help. That is another thing too. It's a very important to remember that those higher spirits, they do not intervene in our situation if we do not want their help. They are going to cry with us, they're going to suffer with us, but if we turn our back to them, the only thing that they can do is to pray and to guide and protect us as much as they can. Because sometimes we are so fixed in one way, and we just pass We just pass and then blind ourselves to their inspirations. Most of the times, we think that this help is going to come in form of a spiritual appearance, or something is going to grow in the sky, when in reality, most of the times, though, those helps many times comes indirectly from people that we never expected, that we never thought about, and we are sometimes waiting for something huge to happen, and it's just a little bit of signs that we have through our days. So they provide advice through inspiration. You know that feeling that you have, you're gonna do something, but you have that first thought, maybe it's not the right way, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Sometimes they are trying to inspire us, but not to decide for us. And because we want something so much, what they have to do is to not intervene, because they have to leave us with the merit of our deeds or with the responsibility of our wrongdoings. If it was in a different way, they would be directing our lives, and this is not the purpose. But they are there for us. This is the most important thing that we have to remember. This is a spiritual being dedicated to follow us throughout this life experience. It's not in a la la land, like we like to say. He's there aware. And when I say he's there aware, I'm not saying that he's planted in a grounded in front of our bed when we're sleeping, but it's a mental connection through a prayer. Please help me. I don't know what I'm going to do in this pain. And immediately you are connected if you open your heart to it. Moving on, Emmanuel is going to tell us that we all have problems and need help from others. But at the end of the day, we cannot escape the solution from our efforts. We have to take charge of our path. Now, sometimes we are not aware of our personal responsibility in this process. And I can tell you for sure, and as of my personal experience as well, because sometimes the pain it's so strong. Sometimes we can't move. Sometimes we can't think about anything else other than a disaster and desperation. And they know that. They know that. But even in those times when we have no strength to move forward, we still have to at least something, at least ask. Do our part in what we can and let God do his part. What we do most of the times is we pray, we ask, which is a great thing. Let's ask. One day I did I deliver a lecture in one of the spirit center, and one person at the end told me, "Don't you think it's too much pride, a presumption that you ask whatever you want for God?" And I said, "No, I don't, and I'll tell you why I don't. He's the master. He knows everything. It's our source. So yes, let's ask high. Ask really high. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Some people I've heard that I speak to a lot of people said, "Oh, I don't even have a strength to pray, or I don't think I deserve." Well, you're talking to the provider of the universe. Who else you're gonna ask? So ask, but ask high, very, very high, because you're not talking to someone that doesn't know what is doing. But back in our minds, we do have to have the feeling of self initiative, of not being tied up to excuse, to victimization. Why, God, you put me into this? How am I going to get out of this? It's the process of learning how to walk. Imagine if a little child, 1 year old, first day, started to walk and fell. No, not walking anymore. This is not the purpose. So we have to keep moving, learning how to walk on our own feet, and ask for the help, the hand of the dad and the mom trying to hold the kid. But hey, at some point, that child will have to walk on his own. And this is the beauty of it, because in the times of desperation, especially the time right now that we are living, we might be wondering, where are they? Where are those spirits that say they're protecting all these people? They are dying. Well, they're not dying. They are being born again. They are going to a different side of life. It's a process of rebirth. Rebirth meaning the spiritual life never ends. Yes, it's painful for many of us. Of course it is. And there will be situations that we can't do anything. Yes, you were born without an arm. You were born with certain disabilities that you can't do anything about it. Then what do? You're not alone. You will find the strength to develop other skills, other abilities to deal with that expiation that's such a hard trial. And you're not alone. The gospel, according to spiritism, give us like the real answer, uh, besides the spirit's book, when the spirits tells us that they do not come, they not assist us to exempt us from the law of work, from doing our part, but they come to show the goal. What is your target? What is your target? And the way to get there. But they do not go through that path themselves for us. And that's why they say, press on and you shall arrive. But they also say, you find stones on your feet. Did you ever got some stones under inside your shoes? That hurts, right? It's gonna hurt sometimes. There will be trials, there will be a lot of affliction. Look and remove them yourself. I can't. I can't do that alone. Neither can I. And that's when it comes to help that will sustain our faith. In that moment of prayer that you don't know what to do, uh, we have to remember that during prayer, when you're done with the prayer, if you pay attention, you are going to feel a little bit more empowerment. The issue is still there, the trials is still there, but you're going to find some more peace. Like sometimes it's so incredible that you go to sleep with a huge problem, with the mind almost exploding, and you don't know what you're going to do the next day. And you do a sincere prayer, even if your prayer is, please help me. I do not know how to get out of this. Show me the way to solve this. Show me the doors that I have to go through. But always keeping in mind that God gave us the constant desire to improve ourselves. And there is a need for us to fulfill this by not looking forward only for the feed of the body, the food for the body, but for the soul as well. So this these two things have to be together when we pray. We can ask anything for God. Believe me, anything. Some people say, "Oh, let's just not bother God." We're not bothering God. He's our Father. Sometimes I say it's not kind of joke, but it's a joke, but it's not a joke. You ask. The worst thing that can happen is a no, or not yet, or It's not good for you, my son. We have to try something else. The problem is we do not want to hear that. Doing our prayers, doing our requests, or in our time of struggle, we want somebody to solve our issues. We want a perfect recipe. How am I going to do that? But if God had made us without the need for work, we would be stagnated, stuck. So it is a process of, okay, you're going to be rewarded according to what you've done. But don't forget, you're not alone. So it is important for us to remember that when we see those things that, okay, press and you shall arrive, it's not a easy path. We all know that. It's easy when you read, I say, oh, that's great. But when you are leaving, the struggle is not easy. We understand that. But what the purpose is that for us to keep in mind that, okay, I'm in the middle of this. It must have a solution, and I'm going to look for help. I'm going to do my part. It's just like I like to always give an example. You were looking um, for a job. You do your part. You wanted that job so much. Then you make your resume. You do some courses, and you prepare yourself the best as you can. And then you go to the interview, and then you don't get the job. How bad God is. How unjust. I can't believe I'm going through this. Have you ever thought about it that maybe it's not the right job for you? Maybe something else is waiting for you in a much better opportunity. But the first thing you do is not what I want. They didn't give me what I want, so I'm not gonna like it. You did your part, but now if you wanted the job so bad and you're waiting for a friend just to make a referral, and then you just wait and don't do nothing on your end, chances are you might not get it. So the idea is to understand that we have part in our request. We have a task to do. We have our duties, and they have theirs. And we're going to go, moving forward, we're going to go over when we have the doors that we have to open. And this is one of the statements that I always remember on times that I don't know what to do. Sometimes you have many options and you don't know which one is right. Sometimes you don't have any options. So I don't think this will be in the gospel for no reason, right? Ask and you shall be given to you. Seek and you find. Knock and it'll be open. Now, I ask you, for when you see this at the gospel, do we really can think that it's okay, ask, okay, I did my prayer today, I asked God to help me. What type of asking way that we have to do? And in the gospel according to spiritism, they are going to teach us that according to the more understanding of Jesus' words, the ask means ask for the strength to resist that evil. Ask for the strength to go through that. And of course, ask for what you want with all your heart. Seek. When you seek, you ask for assistance. You look for all possible doors that might be open. You contact people. You do your part. You seek different ways to solve that problem. Not cross your arms and wait. And of course, the topic is benefactors and blessings, and you might be thinking, okay, where are they? Well, they are seeing this process and trying to move things around in the background to see what can be done. But there is also a part of this process that it's up to us. And when you knock the door, you can say, okay, I want assistance from this spiritual being. I need to seek his guidance. But also, you ask for good advice. So the problem is the way that we are seeing those three imperative verbs: ask, seek, and knock. Oh no, I already contact many people. I did this and that. Okay, that's great. But what is moving that wheel, better saying? Are you waiting for that to become easier? Because sometimes we knock, okay? We ask and we seek, we pray, and nothing happens. That's what we think, that nothing happens. But I can tell you for sure, there is no prayer that unanswered. All prayers are answered. The problem is not all the prayers are answered the way that we want. And that's becoming the big deal, the struggle. So I asked for something and it didn't happen. So God didn't answer me. How about if the answer is it's not good for you? Let's move to something else. How about if the answer is not right now, but we are taking as nobody listens to me? Where is the spiritual being? I'm just alone. God is not there for me. So we have to take heart on those things. If there is one thing that we cannot control, although I don't know about you, but I try not to be a controlling person in my own personal issues, but sometimes we want to control. And one thing that we want to control with a lot of lack of humility and arrogance is God's timing. God's timing, we cannot control. So the only thing we can do is ask for the strength, ask for the help to develop patience, to wait, or to see if this is the best for you, and continue doing what we can do. And then you might, and some people might say, okay, I pray, I did everything, so I'm done. And some people would not even try anything. And that goes to another side of the game here. What's stopping you to knock? I don't believe in a God that placed us in this world with all closed doors, and you go figure. I don't think that that's how it works. The doors of opportunities are there. And when I say opportunities, I'm not saying only in material aspects, opportunities of work, of getting more money, or this or that. I'm talking about opportunities of love, opportunities of self-growth, opportunities of to, deal better with our lower tendencies and everything that applies to us in the spiritual realm or in the physical realm. But my question to you today is, what is stopping you and me from reaching out to knock at that door? Oh, no, I know it's not going to be possible. Well, one thing is this fixed mindset. You and me already know that's not going to happen. So, yes, no surprise, it's not going to happen. So, have to think about this mindset that sometimes we go through our lives and situations and I don't even want to try because it's not going to work. Another item too that we can think, another situation is that maybe my family history, my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my father, my sister, whoever, never worked for them. Or I was raised like this. This is how was my childhood. Nothing can change. Some people bring over all this. Well, it's not because your parents did this way, whoever raised you, that you have to be that way. But sometimes we just put like a stamp This is how I'm going to live my life because this is how I was raised. So many of us carry over this family history. Oh, in my family, nobody went to college, so I don't have the right to go. Come on. Yes, you do. Your family did for you and me what they could do under their possibilities to the limit what they could do for us. Now you have your own life. So what's stopping you from knocking out there? Another thing that we can think about it is people that feel guilty about their past. I made so many mistakes. I was doing so much harm for everybody, and I have no rights to deserve anything good. Who said that? We're dealing with a God of possibilities, of love and mercy. It's always a way to start over. There is always a time that we can get out of the ground and start over. So this can't stop you. Oh, but this society, well, the society doesn't know more than what God has for us in store. So we keep pressing forward. Remember, press and you shall arrive. March, keep marching. Another thing that we can think about it is discouragement. I'm not good enough. We go in the process of self-sabotage. I'm not good enough. I've tried other times and didn't work. And then I'm already assuming that it's not going to work. I'm not going to reach that. We can always sometimes feel, how can I say, anguish and failure when something doesn't happen the way we want. So I'm not going to even go through that door because if it doesn't happen the way I want, I'm going to feel frustrated. Have you thought about that? Well, it may not be exactly as you want, but could be something better. Or have you thought about that could be whatever it's after that door might be something that at the beginning you might say, well, this is really not what I expected, but hey, it's going to turn out to be a great thing later on. Let's just think about that. We all go to a process of self-sabotage. I'm not good enough. Um, I have fear of feel anguish and fail if something doesn't happen. What about if I do all that and doesn't happen? What about if you don't do it? It's not going to happen at all. So I don't know you, but I'd rather try than keep thinking my whole life, oh, how would it be if I have done. We can also think about the individuals that are looking more for its external search, like putting greater efforts and looking for outside when the solution and things that they want, it's inside them. I'm sure that any of us can see ourselves in one of those categories, and some people have fear of change. I know many of them have fear of decision, fear of making decisions, fear of changes, fear of what's gonna be if I find out that I'll have more responsibility. Some people don't want to make decisions because they're afraid of the results. Well, if you don't decide, if you don't move forward, you won't know what the result is. So what to be afraid? Some are with fear not only of changes, but fear of rejection. There are many people that do not even try on because they have fear of, the society will reject them, what my parents are going to think, what my friends are going to think. Well, guess what? We don't control what people think. We can only control what we do, not even what we think we can control, because we hear about, oh, control your thought. No, you cannot control your thought. When you think that God is not there for me, you already thought about that and it's a thought. But you can reverse that and say, okay, today I'm thinking that God is not there for me, but let me try to pray. Let me try to see if I can recover that strength that I thought I had a year ago. You already thought about that God is not there for you when you are in desperation, and so do I. But there is a way for us to revert the process. And I bring this statement from Helen Keller that is so powerful. Most of the times we stuck in that closed door and do not see many others under our nose. Imagine if people like her, blind, would just say, "This is it. I'm blind." And we know this is not what happened. And there are many Helen Kellers out there pressing forward, despite their limitations, physical, emotional, it doesn't matter. Knocking out that door. It happens sometimes that we wanted that door so much. We wanted the spirits to help us so much and give this and give that and make me do this and do that. Sometimes we invest in our precious energy in things that are not good for us. What we have to think about it as well, it's something that's called merit. And I'm often given this example. Being God, good, merciful, love us as his creatures. Don't you really think that he thinks that we all deserve great things? Of course. The merit is for all of us. But God is also a God that is just. And he allows the merit to be according to our deeds, to our actions. So the difference is not that me and you don't have merit. It's because did we work enough yet to deserve what we are asking for? And if you did, and I did many times, there will be a point in life that will say, well, this is not the way. But that doesn't mean that God doesn't want to give you, that doesn't love you because you didn't get what you want. And so most of the times we act like this child at the door. We are there. I want this. And there are other doors we could be trying to go through. And when I see this topics that we talk about, the door closed, and it makes me think that many times when a door closed to us, closed in front of us, it's an opportunity to persevere, to sustain our faith. It could be an opportunity to maybe understand the strength of our faith, to start over, to face new challenges, to grow more. Oh, to learn a few lessons. Because when the door closes, we behave like a child. We throw a tantrum, right? We are grown ups, but we throw tantrums sometimes. At least I do. We don't dwell on what, we should don't dwell on what happened, but what is coming next. That's what she's telling us. We are so stuck in the past, what I didn't get, but I don't get excited for possibilities of things that are waiting for me. We also have to remember that when I see a door that is closed, some people say it's closed, I'm not going to even try, or they go a little bit at the, try just a little bit. But if you were like me, I kind of like to give a little push. Not to open by force, but give a little push. Why not? Sometime there might be some doors that we just have to give a little bit of more push. Some doors might not. And when I say give a little more push, I'm saying, well, is there anything else that I can do to make that happen? Maybe not, maybe yes. I firmly believe that God in this world, he opened doors that nobody can shut in our face. Even though if you didn't get the job that you want, If that relationship didn't work, we see as a door closed and sealed, and that's it. Wow. If the door closed, it's because God allowed it to close. At the same time, no door is open for us if He doesn't allow. We have to think about that. And that's called God's will. But God's will is just. It's not according to what we want all the time, but it's according to what we worked to get it. What's best for our spirit, what is best for our progress. Sometimes we pout about it, we get a tantrum, throw a tantrum all over the place, and then after a few years, oh, it happened. But sometimes doesn't even have that importance anymore. Maybe it was not that important that as we thought it was. Many things that we wanted 15 years ago, it's easy to find that out. Today, you wouldn't ask for that. And it's always seeing God thinking ahead. So the good spirits, going back to them, they are with us today. They are like, okay, this is what, before you come to this experience, to this new life, this is what you set for it. Of course, it's passive of many changes. You have your free will. But there are a few things that it's not to happen yet, or it's not good for you. But sometimes we forget that conversation with them. So in our prayers, um, I always like to not giving advice, because I'm not here in a position to give any advice. What's giving us the knowledge and the powerful message is the spiritism and the higher spirits that talk to Allan Kardec about this. But in our prayers, maybe we start in that conversation with this spiritual benefactor. Maybe start saying, okay, I really want this, but I need to see if this is good for me. What can I do to get this? And if it's not for me, help me to understand. Help me to bury that pain. That relationship is broken, and I don't know if it's going to work. And I try and try and try, and they're not going to come fix our relationships, for sure not. But we clearly can find a way to move forward, a strength to get out of this situation, a strength to recover those feelings, what they can do for us. So, as Emmanuel said, let us trust them, because they enrich our days. They help us with hope and faith and love. Remember, we are loved. Without forget our part on that, because we forget our part as the same time that we do our things, do our part, we have to take advantage of their help, because they are there to sustain us. We don't have enough strength most of the time, and that's where they come from. But there is a duty that belongs to all of us. With that, I would like to just for food for thought, that any forces that we carry under inside us are forces of evil and forces of goodness. The decision, it's up to us which one we're going to use. I can miss an opportunity in life for the several reasons that we give an example in here, or I can see life as a blank canvas, not as a new book, because the book is the same. We are spirits, individual beings who are in charge for our spiritual journey. We have people helping us. We have our benefactors, our parents, our friends. Those are the tools, are the cooperation part. Cooperation, not taking care of our tasks for us. But at the end of the line, it's going to be up to us. So with that in mind, let's think about life as a new canvas. As me and you have painted many, many other canvas in the past, throughout many lives. So this one is a new one. Let's think about that. And we can maybe uh, start over when a door closed or when we feel discouraged, when we feel that we are not being helped by anybody. Maybe if we think about replacing, right, the discouragement with a prayer. Feeling down, woke up not feeling well today, thinking that nothing is going to work for me. Let's say a prayer. Maybe they'll help. Not going to solve the problem immediately, but maybe they'll help. When you are immersed in shadow thoughts, your mind are totally blind. It feels like that cloud on top of your head is about to storm, just like Florida storms. We can think about vigilance. I was not like that yesterday. I was full of hope and faith, and I wanted to do different things. And why today I'm feeling like this? Vigilance. Because me and you might be greatly influenced by the lower beings that do not want us to move forward. And of course, a way to deal with that is also pray for them to find their path, for them to understand that you and me today, we're trying to go on different routes. We can also think about when we are fearful of that decision, to move a little bit further, maybe a meditation, maybe think about things that what I've done, what I can still do, what are my resources. This is all part of the meditation process. But sometimes we just want to do and do and do, and we don't stop. Okay, what's my balance here? What I've done already, what I didn't try yet. This is all part of the deal of finding a solution. When we feel the boredom, right? Sometimes I feel boredom with a tedious situation, nothing works, or what life has for me. Maybe if we get off ourselves a little bit and go help somebody else, that might brighten your day. In my day, for sure, it's I say that as a real medication. When you get off of yourself for a little bit and go talk to someone that is in a lot more need than you, that helps a lot. It's a real medicine, a medicine of giving you gratitude. And you start to thinking, wow, I didn't get exactly what I want, but I could be in a lot more difficult condition than I am right now. One thing we can think about is to defend ourselves against the ignorance with study. Look forward. It's not because somebody tells you that it's not going to work that you have to take that as a truth, as a final say. You have to find your ways. You go study, go study your possibilities. This is all part of our process. And when we say that, uh, remember the good spirits, all the tools that God provide us is watching us, watching our work. This is all part of our work in this process. Um, when we are rebellious, when we are revolted with God and things like that, maybe we can think about the force of my confidence. When things were great, God was great. Now things are not so great, God is not great anymore. Why is that? We can always think about the when you are in this process of uh, I'm not good enough, it's not for me, nobody's helping. Well, how about we use some reasonable faith, right? We let's use our reasoning. Okay, I did all that I could do to move forward, to change this landscape in my life. Why I'm still thinking about that? Why I'm in this process of stagnation? Maybe me and you are gonna find out that we haven't done enough yet. And sometime in the past, somebody asked me, well, what do we do when we tried everything and it still doesn't work? You try different ways, you do this, you do that, and try different possibilities and different steps and all that, or sometimes we repeat that over and over and over. Well, guess what? There'll be a time that the door is closed. And sometimes we try to push a little bit harder through stubbornness. And that's God saying, hey, it's not there. It's not there. But many of us sometimes push the door so strong. And what we're going to find after that, it's not so good for us. It's not going to be a good choice. So even though me and you are trying everything and, I did my prayer, I know the spirits are here and it's not happening, maybe it's time for meditate, time to study your possibilities. Because remember that we are immersed in love. God is good. Is not a God of judgment, but is a God of justice. So we are going through what we are going through because we need to. But that doesn't mean is a final say. That doesn't mean I cannot work to change that situation. And when I cannot change, I have to work in how I'm going to deal with that result. This is all part of the growing process, the spiritual growth process. So I want to leave this talk today, and it's my hope that it may have at least enlightened your thought a little bit as far as this help that we get from the good spirits, the help that we get from people, that is a process of cooperation. But we do have our goal. We do have our part in this to succeed because this is our goal. Our final destination is complete happiness, complete love, unconditional love, and light. Just like that sun that you and me are seeing on the screen. But we are still in a very hard ground path, but we're going to get there. Just like that one that came to us and told us, hey, in this world, you're going to find a lot of struggle. It's not going to be easy, but I am there already. I overcome everything that you're going through. So it is possible, dear friends. I just hope that this message has brought you a little bit more enlighten your faith. Maybe make you think about a few things that you can improve your life, and I will do the same on my end. Thank you so much for the Friends of a Council Living, and thank you for the opportunity again to be here today.
I apologize. I was on mute. Thank you for reminding me. And the reason why, thank you, Juan. The dogs were barking like crazy. So I mute myself just to make sure that it wouldn't come through. Anyways, I was just thanking Sabrina for the wonderful reflection. I was sharing these chapter from Jesus in the Home, the Heavenly Reply, chapter 28, that speaks about the ways in which God answers our prayers. And sometimes, like Sabrina said so nicely, we don't, we are unable to see, to interpret, to understand the replies. And so I think that I just love, is one of my favorite chapters in this book because it just illustrates so well. It's such a cute little story. I love to tell my children. And it's just great for anyone to understand. But it was a very beautiful talk. We really appreciate you being here with us today. And
Thank you, Suzanne.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
yes,
My
yes. And
pleasure.
here is Gisele. Thank you. Beautiful words. And um, here, Juan, good message. Thanks for sharing. So some of our um, participants appreciating your time and the content. So right now, I am going to put Sabrina on the backstage. Thank you again, and I am going to finalize our meeting by inviting everybody to join us not only in our public meetings but also our study groups. We have some opportunities in English on Sundays. We have a new course that has just started with Genesis, and we also have the study of Missionaries of the Light every other Wednesday. So if you speak Portuguese, there are many other opportunities. So join us. The courses are posted on our Facebook page. We also like to remind everyone that we continue to accept donations. We are currently looking for a new place for conscious living. As always, we're going to need very likely to do some remodeling, and that also always requires some money. So we continue to appreciate any donation that you can make. If you're in a position to do so, it's very much appreciated. So please join me in our final prayer for today by saying, Dear Father, thank you so much for the beautiful message that came to us today, reminding us about the presence of our guardian angels, benefactors, and above all, God's infinite mercifulness and love for all of us. Help us to remember to open our hearts, to open the doors, to open our souls, and to seek to be with these good spirits so that we can be strengthened by this connection and by their loving presence in our lives. Help us to have eyes to see and ears to hear, to be able to understand in the depths of our souls the presence and God's answers at all times. Again, we are extremely thankful for the blessings of this moment, for the presence of our friend Sabrina with us. We ask you to continue to bless her in her journey, in spreading spiritualism, strengthening her path, and always being a great source of inspiration for her and her work. Bless us all, our families, our friends in both realms of life, and all the people who are struggling, who are suffering, and different than us, don't have the strength of our faith and your sweet presence in their lives. Thank you again for everything, and so be it. All right, dear friends, as always, it's a pleasure to be here and see everyone with us. I wish you a great Sunday. Have a great day, and I'm hoping to see you again next week. Take care.